Nile rivers and Egypt manors in the year of the synthetic materials. That was the time and space reality we all fought against. The dad who knew just how far to throw his son into the pool had made a miscalculation, and his son fell short and was thrown into a concrete pool instead. The Palestine tits of the Third Reich came together to form what we now know as modern-day Egypt. It was a sad day on the Fertile Crescent. The Doobie King held a meeting with fellow Egyptians. Although they weren't called Egyptians back then, they were called radioscopic nightmare flyers. Sure, it was a bit wordy, but that was their true name. Once they all conceived the plan of building a monolithic structure such as the Great Pyramid Complex, there was nothing that could stop them. Except for things that were powerful enough to stop them, of course. These structures that they conceived of were ones of such precision that even modern-day so-called paid-off scientists couldn't replicate. The exactness down to 1/100th of an inch is thoroughly ignored, so we don't feel even worse about ourselves today. But oh yes, I forgot, we are so much more technologically advanced now because we have handheld devices that make us lazier than a cat on an ice cream sundae. With the plan in place, the next step was to figure out how to move the massive stones that were to be carved and moved to the build site. The obvious purpose and use of these structures were massive power-generating devices. Of course, the general public is fed the same old horse feces about them being a massive tomb for the dead royalty of the day. What an inconvenience that no bodies were ever found inside the massive structure. Only a box that wasn't even big enough to fit a body. So the logical conclusion would be to say it was a coffin. I know when I see a box, the first thing I label it as is a coffin as well, except for the wet, pink, smelly ones. Those aren't coffins for anything, except maybe for little spermatozoa that didn't quite make it.